a personal experience for each person that comes to every website is the future. And I think now, specifically with the AI, it's now possible.
Josh, tell us a little bit about Interact as a company, what you all do.
Yeah, so it's a quiz platform. Now it's an AI quiz platform, which is new as of this year, where you can put in any URL and it creates an interactive quiz. The psychology behind those quizzes is really like people just love to talk about themselves. That's like what we're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the stats behind it is like 70% of everything you say in your life is about you. Mm-hmm. And your brain lights up when you're talking about yourself the same way it does if you're like taking drugs, which is like a little powerful in a way that can be somewhat uncomfortable.
Sure.
But that's what you're allowing people to do when you create a quiz and then they're taking it on your site. And then our platform, the quizzes that you create are about your business and it ties back into your products and your services. And at the end of the quiz, you can ask for an email address. So that's really the kicker, is like you build rapport, you get somebody feeling really good. And then you're like, hey, do you want to join my list? I can continue making you feel good in this way because I'm helping you with something that really matters to you. So that's kind of like the whole background of it. And then the platform we started in 2013. Mm-hmm. And now we've got over 7,000 paying customers. So
yeah,
it's been a good time.
Yeah, amazing. And, you know, you had mentioned that it's really easy to make a quiz.
Yeah.
You know, what immediately comes to mind, you know, is all those BuzzFeed, you know, type quizzes, right? Mm-hmm. Is this something that can work for any business?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very cool to see it proliferate. Mm-hmm. Like, it definitely started with a concentration in the education space, like creators, online businesses that are selling information. Mm-hmm. But more recently, it's very much morphed into its own thing. So we'll have like roofers and chimney sweeps using it because what you can do is basically use the quiz as like a branching map that ties the person that's coming in, that's like your potential customer, mm-hmm. to the right product or the right service or the right content if you're like an author. And that really applies to anybody. And there's this hilarious to me, well, kind of hilarious, but also sad, Harvard Business Review article from 1996. They interview all these execs of marketing companies and they're like, what's the future? And they're like, oh, within 2 years, every website's basically going to be a quiz because it will just make everything personal and it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
30 years later, it still hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But I think the essence of what they were saying was like a personal experience for each person that comes to every website is the future. And I think now, specifically with the AI, it's now possible. Yeah. Whereas it was just way too much work before.
Yeah. And so how quickly can you create an online quiz for your business?
Less than a minute.
Yeah.
Literally less than a minute. It's
How does it do that?
how much time do you have?
Yeah.
You have 6 days.
High level. So what is the AI doing to understand how it can make a quiz for your business?
Yeah. So really what it's doing is you put in your website, it pulls all the content from your website. The AI is using inference, which is something that's really built into the AI models, to infer why would someone be coming to your website? What's on their mind? And it's very good at that to the point where like you as the business owner, you might not always know what's on your customer's mind, but the AI kind of does. Mm-hmm. And what it will do is take that thing that's on your customer's mind that brought them to you and turn that into a quiz title and say, hey, how can I help you with that thing that I know is on your mind?
Yeah.
So now your customer comes to your site and they see your quiz and they're like, oh, wow. That literally feels like you're reading my mind.
Yeah.
And then from there, the AI will figure out what products and services you sell by reading through your text, and then figure out how to bucket those and group them into different outcomes at the end, and then build questions that lead somebody through the pathway to the right product or service for them. And it does all that in 60 seconds.
Yeah, one of the things that I really love about online quizzes is that it's also an opportunity not only to gather information about your customer, but it educates your customer along the way as well. I think even in the way that you can frame questions, right? You're also, to a certain extent, through how you frame those questions, informing your customer or getting them to think about things a certain way, right? Because as you ask a question, it only allows for, you know, a certain set of answers. And again, that's a way to educate your customers. And so that's one of the reasons why I really love, you know, online quizzes, is because you can start priming them for whatever follow-up conversation you're going to have with them, whether you're e-commerce and you're going to make a sale, or whether you're a service-based business and you're going to jump on some sort of discovery call with them. And because they took the quiz, you just know so much more about them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my questions too is, how is Interact different than a lot of the other solutions out there?
Yeah. So the AI is a huge one. There's a lot of tools that slap AI on their product right now. And you'll notice there's this weird arc where like they slap AI on everything and then they slowly remove it. And it's just like, that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
People obviously don't like it. 60% of our customers use our AI as a net promoter score of 80. So almost everybody that uses it likes the outcome. They're happy with the quiz.
Yeah, and an NPS score of 80 is insane.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, our NPS score was not that when people had to write their own quizzes because they blamed it on our software, even though it's like, it's not my fault. Like, I know it's hard to write a quiz. I hear that, but also like you're giving an NPS of our software, not the problem of writing a quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly a huge differentiator. The proprietary knowledge that went into making that AI, our back-end prompt is 120 pages to make that one quiz in 60 seconds. It's universally applicable. You can generate any quiz for anything in a minute, and nobody else has that. On top of that, we have some really great technical stuff, like our integrations are awesome. ConvertKit is one of our great partners where we are right now, and they have been a great partner. We have a really good integration with them. We have integrations across the board, though. So like for any email software you use, that's a big differentiator for us. And then at a very tactical level, like we are a purpose-driven quiz builder, and almost every other solution that people kind of use for quizzes is not purpose-driven to be a quiz builder, which means like the logic mapping and the endings and all that, it's all just made to be a quiz. And we've been doing that exact same thing since 2013. Never changed it at all. Our first landing page looks exactly the same as our new one, just slightly updated on design. So that's it. But really the differentiator is like, do you have to write a quiz or do you not have to write a quiz? And if you don't have to write a quiz, it's a much more useful software.
Yeah. So, you have 7,000 paying customers. So large sample size here. Of the customers that really get a lot of value out of the quiz software, what are some of the things they do, to make the most of it?
Yeah, so this is like stuff that we wrote into the AI, but the way that you have to do it is you have to have everything focused on the customer. And like you mentioned, right, you can educate them throughout the questions, but if that education is not actually what your customer is looking for, it's very obvious that you don't really know who your customer is and what they're thinking about. You can also demonstrate through your questions that you understand your customer by putting answer choices that pulls out of their brain stuff that they didn't even know was in there.
Yeah.
So they're just like, whoa, that is how I feel about this, but I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
And that's what really good quizzes do. You demonstrate a deep knowledge of who your customers are, what they think about, what they're struggling with, what their challenges are, what they're trying to achieve through the content. And because it's conversational back and forth, by the end of the quiz, they really feel like seen and heard. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you can do that. And if you do that, it just works really well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about a lot of like influencers, digital marketers who use online quizzes, but I also heard you say, like chimney sweeps or something, roofers that are taking advantage of Interact. So really across the board, whether you're a service-based business or whether you're an influencer or whether you're selling a digital product, can you make a quiz work for you?
Yeah, literally anything. I mean, I always get stuck when I'm on the spot thinking of other examples, but everything, right? Like we've worked with different governments where they're using it as an educational tool. Like how much do you really know about trade?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought about that, but like nothing actually.
Sure.
So now you make a quiz and I'm like, oh, how much imports and exports do we have of indigo dye? I don't know. And then you learn, right? Because the answer tells you. You can use it for education. You can use it for channeling people to the right content or making a book more personal for people. Everything across the board, and that's a big part of our ethos as a company, is just like unlocking information through the format of quizzes. And any piece of information that you have that's written down on paper or has been said and can be transcribed transcribed into written down, can be used to make a quiz. And that's the beauty of it. I'm just like, it can make anything more fun. And I think that's really incredible.
So
would a custom woodworker?
This is a good question. This is a good question. Okay, so can I interview you for like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, who are your customers? What kind of wood products do you usually make?
So high end, like art forward, custom commissions.
Okay, and is it always different, or is there any like?
It's always different, one of a kind, unique pieces. I mean, I have, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking of right now is just like, I'm guessing that the reason why they want something like that, it's like a representation of themselves, right? Like they want to see their stuff come to life. Right. So then you do a quiz based on that. Our AI will be way better than me at doing this, but like you'd basically say like, how can you bring yourself to life through custom woodwork? And then the quiz would guide them not to a specific piece, but to an ethos of a piece. And then you'd say, I can help bring this to life. Get in touch.
That's amazing.
on the spot, people, on the spot, he's answering that question.
Yeah.
So last question, what are you really excited about when it comes to the world of online quizzes?
Honestly, just bringing information to light. So big project that we're doing right now is bringing public domain content. So stuff that was published before 1928 that is open for anybody to use. There's so much knowledge out there that wasn't brought to life because like there's no real incentive for that stuff to show up on Google and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we're bringing it back, and then we're going to make it all free for our customers to use to create their own quizzes. So if you are like a coach, you help people with their inner work, you could pull a piece from Plato, put your own spin on it, and make a quiz in 60 seconds. And you can just make a bunch of them because there's hundreds of thousands of books that were just like lost in time from great thinkers in the past that you can now bring back to life. And we're going to add that all into our platform. And I'm super excited for that because it just plays with the AI really well. And of course, you can also just talk for 10 minutes and make a quiz.
Yeah.
And so I'm just very excited for people to, whatever the data source is that they're using, just to make more quizzes to bring their knowledge and their information into the world and use it as a way to connect with our audiences.
Yeah, amazing. We're really excited about exploring ways that Badao can integrate with Interact too, and excited to bring that to our channels. So thanks, Josh.
Badao.